morning you guys, it's Karen, and I thought I would come and do a video on how to cope with chronic pain, or how I cope with chronic pain, and hopefully it will help you manage your own chronic pain. And I do get a lot of comments saying, you know, I don't know how you keep going and etc, etc. And so I thought it would be nice to come and chat with you and tell you perhaps things you didn't know about what's going on with me. So I've put down 7 things here that were just, this is really just me brainstorming and scribbling in a book. And the reason that I did this was because there was somebody that left a comment, and she said that, you know, she's having a really tough time, a very similar situation to me, but she was saying that you're lucky because your GP listens, and, you know, I see you with your hair done and your makeup done, and I'm looking like, I think she said a box troll, which I was thinking, I don't even know what that means, but it kind of gave me a giggle, and I thought, you know, she's obviously very funny. But it also made me sad, you know, that she thought that, I think there's some people that think everybody in the world is having a better time. And so the first thing I wanted to say that I try not to do is to not compare myself to other people. And I would say to you guys that suffer in pain, don't compare yourself to other people, because yes, I appear on video with my hair and makeup done, but it happens about once every 10 days that I actually do my hair and do my makeup for video. I'm not saying that I don't wash my hair in between. If I'm having an okay hour or two, I will manage to wash my hair, but for this very reason, I only wash my hair every 3 to 4 days, you know, and sometimes it can go longer if my head's really bad. I don't put makeup on every day. Sometimes I put it on and it's a complete mess, and I take it off again and wish I hadn't bothered. And the only reason I put it on is because I'm sitting, you know, waiting for painkillers to kick in or something like that, and don't know what else to do with myself. So I think that because I put videos up and I may look well put together as I can, because I'm quite clumsy with makeup and whatnot, I think, but I'm not like that every day, and I think that's what people think because that's all you guys see. So it does make sense, you know, all you'll see is videos from me, and although you'll see 2 videos a week on my beauty channel and then a video on here perhaps, if you notice I'm always in the same outfit, the same makeup, the same hair, because like I said, I have one time every 10 days where I feel well enough to do my hair, to wash my hair, to get it ready, to put my fake tan on, to put my makeup on, and it takes me a good couple of hours in the morning. It's not something that is quick, and it's not something that happens every day. So the other thing is that it's tricky for me to find the balance between telling you guys all what's going on with me and not sounding like I'm constantly moaning all the time, you know. And so I suppose, because I've been called a hypochondriac before, and the very reason I set up this health channel is so that I could sort of freely talk about my health, but at the same time I don't want to be constantly saying, like, I could come on here, instead of coming on here with my makeup done and my hair done, I could come on and just sit and cry on the days that I'm feeling really down, which is more than the days that I've got my hair and makeup done. You know, I could sit and say, oh, this is just so terrible, I can't bear this pain, I'd rather not be here. You know, I've gone through all of those emotions, and I've done the rest of the things that I'm going to tell you about to make those days okay, to make the days where I'm, sometimes it's just a few hours in the morning, to really appreciate those, you know. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I hope that you will find it some comfort. Like I said, I remember the saying, was it my dad that told me? It said, laugh and the world laughs with you, cry and you're on your own. And I always remember that, and so I don't want to ever be, you know, constantly on about things, but it is your life, and so it's difficult to not be like that. But maybe I go too far the other way is what I'm saying, so I maybe speak about it too blasé. But it does affect me as much as everybody else, but it's just that what you see are the good days, you know. And I as soon as I have a good day, I get all my filming done. And actually sometimes I'll have a good day, get my filming done, and then look back and my hair and makeup look terrible because the day before filming I didn't have time to wash my hair, or I didn't, you know, wasn't able to wash my hair. And so I'll need to refilm that. And then that's when you'll see a bigger gap between videos. And this is my only source of income at the moment. Well, not this channel isn't even monetized, but you know, YouTube is my only source of income, really. So don't compare. The other thing is, you're not alone, which I suppose is kind of related, but a way that you can really see that you're not alone is to go onto things like Facebook groups, or Instagram pages. And so the way to find these groups is if, for example, you have chronic migraine, as I do, I would put an Instagram, I'd do a search, you can search under hashtags and put chronic migraine, and then you'll find people that are suffering the same thing. And then there's one particular girl on Instagram who I found because actually I was helping her out with her dog. She had a dog with separation anxiety, but she has just been such an inspiration to me because she posts lots of things that you think, yes, that's exactly what people do to me, or that's exactly what people say to me. They think it's just a headache, or it's definitely people don't understand. But when you realise there's somebody else going through that, it really, really helps you. And you can do that on Facebook as well. There's so many Facebook groups for all sorts of conditions and even just chronic pain, you know, and you can meet like-minded people. And I know that it's difficult because, again, if you've got a chronic migraine like myself, it's been difficult to go on these groups and things because my head's hurting a lot of the time, so I can't look at the screen. But that's where I've been able to check in on this Instagram account, and it's really made a difference. So I would urge you to have a look at Facebook groups. And obviously not everybody watching is going to have specifically migraine. You might be able to sit and look on a computer. So remember, you're not alone. Don't compare yourselves to other people, because you never really know on social media, the people you see, you don't know if that's their everyday life. Number 3 is you need to forgive yourself for not getting stuff done. This has been a very hard lesson for me, and I can't say that I've 100% learnt it, but I am trying. I'm really trying, because on days that you need to rest, you need to rest. And for some people and some conditions, it helps to move. But certainly with migraine, I get dizziness. That's my biggest thing. And it's not something I can work through. And I do try. I try and try and try. Like, I might spend a couple of hours just sort of dragging myself around the house. And actually, I think you should have just laid down. You almost need to surrender to your pain or your illness sometimes and be okay with the fact that you're not going to get things done that you wanted to get done. That's probably my biggest, the thing that upsets me the most. Suddenly thought I hadn't switched the microphone on there. The thing that upsets me the most is not getting stuff done, because my personality without any of this chronic pain is running around getting everything done, you know, speaking to family, getting everybody's birthday cards sorted, doing YouTube. I was doing YouTube and working and looking after Watson, you know, now it's completely different. But you have to think of the illness and the pain that you're suffering as an outside influence. It's not you, it's you against that illness, you know. It isn't you, it's just something that's taking you down. But as I said on Instagram the other day, think of yourself as a willow tree, that you bend but don't break. You know, it's got the better of you just now, but you will win in the end. And, you know, if your house isn't clean, if the clothes aren't washed, if you didn't get your to-do list done, then that's okay. You know, you have to forgive yourself for that, because it's not your fault. It's not your fault that you're feeling this pain. It's not your fault that you can't get things done. And actually, it's better for you in the long run to relax, because pain is not good for a body. You know, I remember doing my pain module when I did my, you remember I was doing I got a HND in biosciences, in health sciences. I was doing a BSc in health sciences, but I only got as far as the HND. But I did a module on pain, and it was explaining that, you know, the longer your body's in pain, the more tiring it is for the body. It's very tiring for the body to be in pain. So if you can submit and surrender to the pain and relax and, you know, sleep or whatever you need to do to get through that pain, you will mentally feel better and you will physically recover quicker. And this isn't specific to fibromyalgia, migraine pain, arthritis. It's specific to pain and to pain sensations. So forgive yourself. The other thing I find is I always write a to-do list. I'm somebody with lists everywhere, and on my to-do list there's so much on it. But what I've learned to do now is to look at the list at the beginning of the day and then look at what are the things that have to get done, like they absolutely need to be done today. So I don't know, say we were out of milk and I need to drink tea all the time, so I needed to get milk. So I would circle that. And it's great because I could have 10 things on my list, but I just circle 2 things and it's like, oh, okay, I can cope with that, and it kind of takes the stress off, you know, that the only things that need to get done are these 2 things. And trust me, my house has been dusty without the kitchen sides being cleaned many times, and you know, one of the first things I do when I get a healthy day is clean, and it makes me feel so much better. Number 4 on my list is to turn to those closest to you. That could be family. For me, I couldn't really turn to family simply because they weren't here, like as in where I live. So my dad was here, and I did used to turn to my dad. I would, sometimes go to his and be crying and saying, I wished I could visit him more, but I was really struggling with these migraines. But everybody else is miles away, and I would have to speak to them on the phone. And speaking on the phone is one of the things that I really struggled with most days when having a migraine. And so I didn't have my family to turn to, but I do have my husband. And I wanted to mention this because I think that the worst thing about this would be if you are single and not happy being single. If you're single and happy single, I have been single in my life. I was 4 years I was single, and I just loved every minute of it. Couldn't ever imagine me being in a relationship, to be honest. But if you are single and not enjoying being single, that was my dad when he was single. And all of his illnesses were magnified, exacerbated, because he always was like, I don't have anyone to help me. You just want somebody to say, can I get you a cup of tea? Can I get you a hot water bottle? Is there anything I can do to help? And don't get me wrong, I'm also talking to those people that are in relationships and have got a shit partner, because not all partners are understanding. But the point I wanted to make is that just because of what you are going through, the chronic pain, the chronic condition that you have, does not mean that you won't find love. Because my dad had all sorts of things wrong with him. He had a back injury. He was on a little moped. He would always say, I can't do this, I can't do that. What use am I to anybody? And he always wanted to have a purpose. And then he met Eve. And so his wife is deaf. Was deaf. He's not here anymore, as you guys know. I lost my father last year. But she is completely deaf and very, very anxious person, needed an awful lot of help physically because she couldn't walk very well. She'd had a hip replacement, and they ended up on their mobility scooters. And he met her at 74, age 74. She was 79, and off round on their scooters having a whale of a time. I mean, they just had so much fun together. And when I used to phone my dad, I used to say, how's your back? Because his back was the biggest thing, and he'd say, oh no, it's awful, it's getting worse. Every time I spoke to him, he said it was getting worse. He couldn't do anything. He just hated the fact that he would get up and he said, there's no point in the day because I can't do anything. I can't get any exercise because I can't go out because I'm in too much pain. The minute he met Eve, it was like, I'd phone and say, how's your back? Oh yeah, it's fine, it's absolutely fine. But anyway, this is what's happening with Eve, and I needed to get Eve to her appointment, and I need to go with her to this. And it gave him a purpose. And it helped his pain. And so, yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know, if you're single, if you're in a bad relationship or whatever, if you're in a relationship where somebody is blaming you, by the way, for not getting things done, then that is really out of order. I could probably fill a whole video with ranting about that. But you need to have the right people around you. So remove anybody that is negative if you can. Surround yourself with positive people, even if you have to do it via a Facebook group or an Instagram page, and have faith that you deserve love and you will find love and you can find a partner regardless of what's wrong with you. I'm going to stop rambling because I feel like I'm rambling a bit there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5, you have to advocate for yourself. The girl that left the message saying your GP listens, that's just not the case. It's not the case. I have had 2 amazing GPs and 2 that I quite liked, and they've all left. And let me tell you how I got this recent painkillers. I knew that I needed to phone because I have no rescue medication. I had no rescue medication until Saturday just gone, actually. I've only just picked it up. And I was saying to my husband, this is ridiculous. I'm in pain every day and I have nothing to take to help it. It's not like I get this every day, I can take something, it gives me a couple of hours of relief. I have nothing, absolutely nothing. And so I said, I know I need to see somebody, but I hate speaking on the phone because of the migraine, but also I'm very anxious on the phone. And I said, I wish I could get to see somebody, but I think it's going to have to be a telephone consultation. So I always have to work myself up to making phone calls because of, how anxious it makes me. And especially when talking to the doctor and whatnot. So I phoned up and spoke to the receptionist, and I said to her, is there any chance I could see somebody in person? I said, because I'm really anxious on the phone and I'm feeling really upset about this whole thing. And I knew that it was possible because I had actually seen somebody the week before. The nurse had made me an appointment, a face-to-face appointment with the doctor, because of the heart issue that the nurse had discovered that I needed to see the GP about. There was no reason for me to see him face to face. He didn't touch me, didn't check my heart, didn't check my blood pressure, nothing. We were just talking and he was looking at the results from the nurses, etc. So I knew it could happen, but I spoke to this receptionist and she said, no, you have to have a phone call. Well, I started crying my eyes out. This is about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. The rest of the phone call was one of those where it was like, it was really, I was in such a state, and it was just because she'd acted so coldly towards me, and I was already anxious about the phone call, and the thought of having to have this phone call with a doctor that I had never met, because there's now no doctors at my surgery. In lockdown, no, there's not no doctors. There is one guy, but I know that he's quite anti-opioids, and so I wasn't keen on speaking to him. He's a bit of a fitness fanatic, and he's given me a bit of a lecture about weight before, and I just wasn't comfortable speaking to him. But he was the only person I know now at that surgery. Everybody else, there's all these new doctors that I'd never even met, and so I was such a state. So on the day of speaking to this woman, she was okay. She did. I wouldn't even say she listened, because honestly, she didn't go through a whole list of medication. She sort of just almost went straight for the opioid option, and that has worked out brilliant for me. But I have not, this is not the first time I've asked for pain relief. This is not the first time I've been in with migraines. Nobody's going to offer you, well, not nobody, but there are very few really good GPs, I suppose is what I'm saying. Very few. And so it's up to you to advocate for yourself. And if that means just make an appointment with somebody else, just say, I don't want to see that person, I want to see somebody else. Then see somebody else. And if that doesn't work, see somebody else. And you know what? It's really, really hard when you're struggling with chronic pain to actually get yourself to wherever the doctors are, or to make time for that phone call. The last thing I want is a phone call when I've got a migraine, but you have to do it to get out of, you know, the situation where you're in chronic pain. And there is something for everybody. There really is. None of them are ideal. It's not ideal that I've got tramadol, but I've got tramadol. And it's given me a break. You know, today I seem to be fine so far, which is why I've managed to do my hair and I've managed to do my makeup. Yesterday would have been a severe day, but I managed to take a tramadol. It takes away the dizziness, it takes away the pain. I'm only allowed to take them 3 days a week, so I have to hope that I can take them 3 days a week and that the other 4 are good, which is unlikely. So I'm still going to have, you know, a few days a week where I'm struggling with the pain, but I feel like I've got hope now, you know. And so I think the only way is to advocate for yourself. Just keep on making appointments with somebody different until somebody listens to you, you know, or go back to the same person and say, I'm in pain here all the time. Please help me. You know, tell them you're depressed about it. Tell them you're down about it, and see what they can do for you. Okay, that was number 5. Number 6 is research. I know not everybody's into research, but it will do you such, it will give you such hope, I think, if you do research into your condition. And again, on these Facebook groups and whatnot, that helps you, because people will say, have you tried this? Have you tried that? There'll be things that you'd never even heard of. And for me, obviously, I worked for 10 years in a hospital on many different clinical trials for lots of different conditions, but I've been away from it for 3 years, and so I didn't know that you could get Botox for migraines. I actually never saw any studies for migraines, so I wouldn't have even known what the migraine treatments were, because that's not something that I ever saw. And so have a look and see what you can find out. You know, just put chronic migraine or chronic pain or fibromyalgia, and then put research studies and see what you can come up with. Get to know what the guidelines are in your area. You can look at the NICE guidelines and what the guidelines are for the GPs on what sort of pattern they have to follow and what sort of medication they have to offer you. So I think the more you educate yourself and the more research you do, the more hope you'll have. And I think that's key, because the times when I've been the most down about my condition and the pain I'm in, and when I say my condition, I mean the Ehlers Danlos as well, because it's causing me a lot of pain. And I don't even talk about what's going on with my knee at the moment. I can barely even walk. But the time that I'm the most at a loss and the most depressed is when there's no next step. So with my migraines, for example, even when I didn't have the tramadol, which I now have and has made me feel so much better, but like psychologically as well as actually making me feel better. But even before that, I was like, you know, it's okay, because at the end of March, I get Botox again. And although that's 6 weeks away or 4 weeks away now, it's something, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and they're going to give me more, and so that might work. And then if that doesn't work, they're going to try the Aimovig injection on me. So I know that there's hope, and I think hope helps you. It's when you get to the end of the line. And so like with my knee, for example, I'm at the end of the line. They can't give me a steroid injection in my knee because there's nothing to inject into. It's all worn away. It's in such a bad state. They won't give me a knee replacement, or they might if I really push, but she doesn't suggest it because she wants to see me lose weight first. Fair enough. Once I'm on top of my migraines, that's my plan. But they think I'm too young for a knee replacement. They prefer to not do it this young because they only last 10 years and they can go wrong and yada yada. And so there's not really much I can do for my knee pain. You know, I can't take anti-inflammatories because they're bad for my stomach, and yeah, there's quite a few issues with that. So it's something like that that bothers me, but I will then research and take other things. I'm taking turmeric for it. Once I've got a few notes about what to try, I suddenly feel like, yes, there's hope. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and I think that that will really help you to look into, to educate yourself as much as possible. The very last thing is something that I think can sound really annoying if you're in a lot of pain, if you're struggling, but it is to remember that it could be worse and to be thankful for what you have. And like I said, I think that that could be annoying, and I have been annoyed myself when I've read things before and it says, you know, write a gratitude diary, and I've thought, what have I to be grateful for? This, especially if I have like 12 to 14 days of a straight migraine, which has happened recently, and it's from when I get up till the evening. It's hard to be grateful because you get up and you think, what's the point in even getting out of bed? You know, it's hard for me to get out of bed. I wake up and think, I used to love getting up and doing my makeup. You know, my eyes have got older now. It's not as much fun doing makeup now. And if I feel so dizzy, I don't really care about makeup. And so I don't bother, and I don't have the energy. And so what's the point, you know? So it is hard to be grateful. I get that. I totally do. For me, what I look at is, I had a friend that was, well, she was my age, but she would have been about 5 years older than me, but she was younger than I am now when she died. I think she was 42 when she died, and she died of breast cancer. She had breast cancer, she had beat it, and then it came back again, and it went to her brain because she got an infection because she couldn't take the chemo. And in that, a few days, it went to her brain and she was gone. She was in a hospice, but she had thought she was coming home for the weekend. She had plans for the weekend, but she died. And I always think of her and I think, what's the alternative to me waking up every day in pain and trying to fight this and trying to be a warrior about it? You know, what's the alternative? The alternative is that I'm not here, and I definitely still have so many things I want to do. I definitely still want to be here, you know. And I have days where I think I would rather not be here than suffer this pain when it's really bad. But I do want to be here at the end of the day, and I have a choice, and I'm very, very lucky. And so I always think of my friend Lee and think, she would say, if she was listening to me now, she'd say, I'd rather be here and have one day every 2 weeks, one day a month to live life, than not be here at all, because she's not here and she's not seeing anything or doing anything. And so it may be something, you know, you could maybe think of a similar situation about how it could be worse. I did that with my dad as well, you know. When he died, I think, well, I am grateful that he died peacefully. He died in his sleep. Like, who could want to wish for anything else for their family? That's what you want, you know. You don't want them to die a horrible death. And so I tried to think about that after my dad passed. So anyway, that is my rambling over. I hope it doesn't sound like a lecture, because I know I can get quite on my soapbox when I'm talking about this, but hopefully you know that these are all things that I'm trying to do myself, and these are all things that help me. They really, really do help me. And I promise you there is hope. Like, I've been battling these migraines for 17 years, but I didn't have them every day for 17 years. It's been 3 years. And so it's not something that's happened overnight, but I haven't fought every single day for this. It's not until I kind of wait until something's unbearable before I start going to the GP. And so you can catch it early and just be your own, you know, fight for yourself. So that's everything. Let me know what your coping mechanism is. What do you do to cope? Leave me a comment below, and you know, that other people can read and say, oh yeah, that's a good idea, I do this, I do that, you know, because it would be great to see other people saying that or tell us what you've got, you know, tell us what you're going through. Or even if you just want to talk and let people know, because people read the comments. You know, I read every single comment and other people read the comments. So let me know how you're feeling. If you're feeling down, if you're going through something, if you're struggling to find, you know, a reason to be grateful or to be hopeful, then let us know. And there may be other people going through the same thing. So thank you so much for watching today, and I will speak to you again soon.